internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th Annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Special thanks to Platinum Partner Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, delivering dependable insurance coverage for your auto, farm, and home for over 130 years. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Are you looking to upgrade your farm equipment? You're in luck. Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, recently dropped its prices on select late model tractors, combines, planters, and sprayers. Trade in your old equipment today and get never before seen discounts that can save you over $100,000. With great financing options and our A-plus support, there's no better time to upgrade. Visit your local Acres store or see the huge savings at acres.com. That's AKRS.com to see the best prices in the nation.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys want a happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Happy Hour, another 2-hour edition of it, as we are live from Blur Events, the Blur Tailgate, 12th and Cass Street in Omaha. We're here until 6 p.m. And as always, we want to thank Empire Fence and Netting for their support of the show as always. But first, we need to tell you a little bit more about Blur Events. 18 TVs, drinks, buffet, tons of yard games, and today on a Monday, tons of people. A great showing from the people here. Early in the day, we got a great couple of games on tap. First off, it's going to be Florida and NC State in an elimination game coming up at 1 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., the winner's bracket game between two somewhat different teams in philosophy, that is Kentucky and Texas A&M. Both teams are here. One of those teams has almost 45 more home runs hit this season than the other team. And so kind of contrasting styles in the night game. tonight. That voice you hear is Rico. We're also joined by Austin. Rico, first of all, hello.
Hello.
How's the day, man?
It's fantastic, man. Got to sit in with the boys for the drive. Got to hang out with the mayor of North Platte and the not yet mayor of Houston with Amon Green and Chris Raff, and just talk some shop with them and AD, and then got in my car, drove down here, and joined you guys here at the Blur Events tailgate, which fantastic. We were here last year. Still a fantastic event.
Well, you weren't here Friday. We were all here Friday.
Yeah, I know.
And it was an
slightly
incredible
jealous.
time. It was an incredible time on the first day. I think there's even more people here sooner, quicker. There was a line.
You are like the 8th person that said that.
There was a line out the door. By the way, Eric and Stacy, the owners of Blur, said that this is the most tickets that they've sold at the door, not pre-sold.
Really?
And we're only 3 or 4 days in, 3.5 days in. So that's a huge compliment to everybody that has purchased tickets at the door. We can't thank you guys enough. There's a lot of College World Series left. Also, I will say this. I'll be honest, in full transparency, we're all Tennessee fans because in a way, Blur will be the official home of Tennessee Volunteer Nation. 900 people are expected here tomorrow for Tennessee's match tomorrow night. So I'll say
That's
this:
ridiculous.
Tennessee in somewhat of a driver's seat at 2-0. They're expecting 700 to 900 people, all decked out in orange for the Tennessee Volunteers.
And Peyton Manning's forehead counts for 5 of them.
Yeah, potentially. There it is. No, Peyton Manning is in town.
He is. He's down here. One of my father-in-law's friends was down at the game, the Tennessee game the other day, and said that they were walking after the game, walking on the sidewalk, and they had some security guards come over, and they're like, "All right, please, move to the side, move to the side." And Peyton Manning just walking down.
Well, it's interesting because so I stayed here pretty late into the night on Friday. I'll be honest about that one. I stayed here until almost closing time at the Blur tailgate, which closes at midnight on every single night. Friday had some friends that were out here as well, but we sat there after the day after we left, and we said we spent less coming to a place that we get shaded from the sun and get just as good of a view of the game than we would if we bought the tickets, if we went to the game, if we went somewhere else to tailgate, if we went to another spot around town. We spent less. And so those packages, I'll let people know, $79 gets you lunch, gets you dinner, gets you soda, water, and a cash bar if you would like it. For $109, you get all those things I mentioned, but also beer and wine. And then if you spend $129, which, by the way, we had this conversation, a lot of times is cheaper still than a ticket to a single game. $129, you get all the things I mentioned: lunch, dinner, soda, water, beer, wine. And if you're a mixed drink fan, you get those included in that $129. You can come and go all day. So if you want the atmosphere of the Omaha City, if you want to walk around the stadium, if you want to hang around a team bus in a non-weird way, well, then come on by. Grab your ticket at the door. You can also go online, blurevents.com/Omaha. That's the place to buy them. That's the place. You can also come down to the corner of 12th and Cass. It's just a block south of the stadium. You can't miss it. And grab your ticket at the door. Those prices also, by the way, after June 22nd, go down. So if you can't make it out in the next couple of days through the 19th, come on down, and they will actually go down in price.
Look, even if
that's a little steep for
the
you.
price right now, that's a hell of a deal because, like you said, you can come and go. You're shaded. You've got a bunch of yard games. You've got Pong. There's some people playing over there. You got Connect Four. There's a freaking hammock. I haven't laid in the hammock yet.
Bathrooms.
There's a cold tub. There's bathrooms. You can get it's a buffet style like food. Like you can get as much as you can. You can get a triple stack burger if you wanted to.
I'll be honest. Sometimes when you come to these types of things, the food's kind of crappy.
This is good food.
But it's actually really good.
This is good food.
It's actually really good. Shout out to the caterers, and we can't thank Eric and Stacy and the rest of the team at Blur Events. They've been incredible for us. They got some rain. They took care of our tents. They took care of our equipment. We can't thank them enough for having us out. It's a good time. We got a long time to come still as well as we are entering the noon hour. And let's go ahead and just spend a bulk of the time here recapping what we've seen from the College World Series, because you look at, you could say, the scope of the first 4 games and on Friday and Saturday night and say this was some of the best College World Series action we've seen in recent memory. It
has been electric, and it's something that you mentioned before where you have 7 top 10, top 15 teams, and then Florida, who was a preseason number 2. this is what you get when you have amazingly high-level teams going at each other's necks, is really close games and 3 back-to-back-to-back walk-off victories.
Well, and then even in the fourth game, that one that had endured a 4-hour and 17-minute rain delay.
Yeah,
Austin,
fun.
you're on the mic. We thought Stillwater was bad.
Oh, man.
A 4-hour and 17-minute rain delay, then only to have Florida's potential go-ahead home run in the ninth inning get robbed at the wall by Texas A&M.
He said, let me bring that back real quick.
I mean, so when you look at those games, right, maybe yesterday's weren't as intriguing, or, as fascinating. Florida State knocks off Virginia, and then in the night game, you have Tennessee get to 2-0 with a pretty comfortable victory over North Carolina last night. But in those first 4, if you were a casual fan seeing, okay, maybe is this a College World Series that I want to get into? First of all, the Tennessee game at night on Friday was incredible. But then you should have realized after 4 games, or even after 3.5, if you were a normal person and went to bed, that, this is something you should probably be paying attention to.
I talked about this with Strick. There's not one overarching storyline that I think covers this College World Series, right? You can talk about Tennessee's quest for redemption.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, Virginia won a title almost a decade ago. A&M's never won one. Florida State's never won one. But there's not that big national storyline. Even like Kentucky in its first trip here didn't make waves. So I told Strick, if there's not going to be a big national story coming into the College World Series, I hope there's at least really good baseball. And oh my gosh, 3 walk-offs to begin the thing, and then almost a game-tying home run. They got robbed.
Yeah.
First night, absolutely delivered. First 2 nights, absolutely delivered. And then we needed to catch our breaths, I think, yesterday, right? Have some more games so you can kind of sit back, kick back, and chill, not be on the edge of your seat with heart palpitations. But, man, I hope the rest of the tournament's like day one.
The teams didn't want to give anybody any heart attacks, so they took a little break yesterday with some of the games. But like you said, no national storylines. No, I mean, you have some amazingly talented players, some extremely high-level, high draft picks that are playing, but it's not. You don't have like a scheme, like a dominant pitcher who's just going to go the distance every single time with these teams. Like you said, every team kind of has their own story, but there isn't one team that everybody's kind of rallying behind.
No
like
Stony Brook, no Coastal.
Yeah, there's no team that
no
everybody's like,
Obod.
yeah, this is the team that we want to win. Yeah, Kentucky's in there first. Florida State maybe has that with their longtime head coach passing away earlier this year, and then making it back to Omaha, not having won a national champ. Like, they have all of these things going on, but they're all kind of regional stories going on, all coming together for one melting pot of an amazing College World Series here in Omaha.
Okay, so we put that thought onto it, right? Because I think when we talked about maybe the NCAA basketball tournament as well, there was a moment and maybe a negative connotation where it's chalk now, right? It's the highest rated teams. There's no upsets. There's no Cinderellas. There's no fan favorite team of if you're just going to the ballpark and you're not a fan of any of the 7 other teams that are in it. I'm going to go cheer for Coastal Carolina. I'm going to go cheer for the Chanticleers. I'm going to go hang out with Oral Roberts for a little bit. I think we sometimes frame that in a negative light. However, what these first 3 days, frankly, from a fundamental, exciting just type of feel and look, it's kind of burst that bubble of that it's a negative thing when it's all chalk. Because we came into this going, all right, you have quite a number of the top 10 teams in here. You have a team in Florida who is no stranger to the stage, right, and is playing some of their best baseball as of late. They've made 9 of the last 14 College World Series under Kevin O'Sullivan, and so it's no stranger to the stage. Might be the least talented team, but nobody's surprised that they're here, I think. And so through it all, we're seeing how little things mattered so much. We saw it in the Tennessee-Florida State game on Friday night. Tennessee played sloppy. They played sloppy. Errors defensively, not being able to execute pitches, and it almost cost them, right? Mm-hmm. But Tennessee was able to kind of bounce back. They made the adjustment going into last night then on Sunday, and they played a much cleaner ball game and much more Tennessee-like ball game against North Carolina.
They did. Everyone that's here deserves to be here, which is fair to say. I think people root for the underdogs and the upsets, in the first couple of rounds, right? They want to see some 1 seeds lose and be on the ropes in regionals. They want to see the occasional 2 or 3 seed win a super. But when you get to Omaha, you get to the College World Series, this should be the best the sport has to offer.
Yeah.
College baseball isn't at the forefront of people's minds nationally. So I think that the tournament organizers, I think the NCAA, they want enough of a cool story, but they also want fan bases that travel well, that will make Omaha a good time, that can start to grow the game, continue to grow the game, and keep it, at least on the tip of people's tongue to some degree, more so than just for the 10 days that it's here in Omaha.
Like, I'm a big fan of the smaller team, the Cinderella team, but I'm not gonna lie, when Nick was reading off the statistics of 7 top 10 teams, Florida was preseason number 2, I was kind of upset. I was excited that Kentucky it was their first time here in Omaha, but I'm a big fan of something different happening and just getting that different vibe here in Omaha. But I was proven wrong in that first night. Those first 2 nights, I was just and I'm glad to be proven wrong. I'm glad that it is, as you said, the sport's best that they have to offer, and you have these teams in here again going toe to toe, going at each other's necks, and having these close games going down to the wire, going down to that 9th inning, and not sitting back in your chair just like, all right, well, this game's over after 4 innings, this game's over after 5 innings. I do really enjoy the storylines and the stories of the smaller teams when they do make it to Omaha. And I will always be rooting for that, but I'm not going to come around to it, but it's a little closer to liking the chalk, at least here for baseball.
I think there's also part of it to where it provides it as an educational piece of just the game of baseball, right? I think there's a way that you can view it. Certainly when those Cinderellas make it can draw some new eyeballs to the sport and to the game. However, when it's number 1 versus number 6 or number 1 versus number 8, and maybe it hurts it a little bit because it's the same conference, but they're just so dominant. But ultimately, it gives, I think, an interesting insight to us, and I know you and I love it. Today's all about home runs, though, and everything's about, hey, who can top out the most, who can top out the highest on the mound, who's a lefty that throws 97 from the mound and has thrown 112 innings this year, right? That stuff is flashy and that stuff is exciting, I think, to draw fans. However, there's also a certain section, I think, that appeals to, let's have a 2-0 ball game where a guy's just out there dealing for 7 innings. Then it's the traditional way of, let's get a nice reliever to come in, get 3 outs, and then a closer that's just tough as nails, gets in 3 outs, just making competitive pitches. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I sat there, and in an 11-11 game, you can be on the edge of your seat, but also in a 2-0 game, you can be as well.
Oh, yeah. I could tell that. I know that you two are loving the, single, bunt them over, and then let's see what we can do. I know that you guys are loving it.
I don't even know if it's like that. I think it's just like baseball in its pure form at times, and just understanding that, like, yes, in today's game, and we see it so much with Florida, we see it with A&M tonight, who hit in their 135 home runs that they've hit on the season. Yeah, that can win you a lot of ball games too. But there's more than just one way to win a ball game and get to the biggest stage.
And you need to see all of those ways in the same tournament, right? This is going to sound like a cop-out answer, but the best tournaments have balance. You have a game like Florida State, Tennessee, the first one that, was 11-7 before Tennessee rallies. Both teams score double-digit runs. That's bad pitching, but it's also good offense. You need games like the, 2-0 Skeens and Rhett Lauder game last year between LSU and Wake Forest. You need just a good old-fashioned 6-3, 7-4 kind of ball game where there's enough offense, there's enough pitching, but there has to be something for everyone at these tournaments because people, like you said, Nick, need to learn the game of baseball, be educated about it. You love the styles make fights sort of element, right? Where if you get 2 teams that are great at offense, all right, let's see double-digit runs from each team. If you get, your pitchers of the year on the mound, let's see them deal in a big part. Let's see them pitch to contact and let the defense work. If you lean too far in just home runs, if you lean too far in just strikeouts, you miss a lot of the beauty of the game of baseball that I think the Chuck sets up perfectly for being a bigger part.
It does, and I kind of want to dive into that in the next segment because I think depending on how you look at it, the park could favor both of these teams tonight. And maybe one more than the other one, but we know, and I'm skipping ahead past the 1 o'clock game to the 6 p.m. game, but this 1 p.m. game is going to be interesting between Florida and NC State. We'll dive into those as well. Talk about the park a little bit when we come back.
I was going to ask you guys, like, what happened with Charles Schwab where when it was first built and like the first couple College World Series, it was, this is a pitcher's park and it's very hard to hit home run. They had the home run derby and I'm pretty sure like 5
won the home run derby the first year that the park was built. What's happened? What has changed? Is it the players? Is it the equipment? And again, we can get into that in the next segment, but
Yes.
I just want to know from your guys' point of view, you guys are more baseball focused oriented than I am. What do you think has changed with this game, whether it's the players, the equipment, just getting used to the park or something that has allowed for a lot more home runs, a lot more balls to go over the fence?
I think that's a can of worms that we can dive into. So let's take a break. We'll put a pin there. Once again, we're live from the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton Omaha. We're here until 6 p.m. tonight. Blur folks have been nothing but gracious for us. Hey, it looks like the line at the buffet has somewhat died down. It's been
you ready to get some food?
Hey, there have been lines the entire morning, both at the buffet, both at the bar, and outside waiting for people to get in. It's been a great crowd so far. On a Monday, I was driving here, didn't know, okay, what's it going to be like on a Monday, right? We know what it was like on Friday and obviously on the weekends as well. But what's it going to be like on Monday? I am so pleasantly surprised that folks are understanding about Blur. They understand the type of service that they can provide. They are incredible. Go online now, blurevents.com/Omaha.
And you know what? Before we do get out of here and take a break, I do want to say happy birthday to my daughter, Elliot, as she turns 5 today.
Nice.
I have a 5-year-old, dude.
There it is.
It's crazy. I was
been a dad for 5 years.
Looking through all the pictures, and I remember when I was able to just hold her whole body almost in my hand. And
That's
now
crazy.
she's 5, and she's a sassy little spunky little girl. And I just wanted to wish her a happy birthday.
Don't cry.
I might.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into it. Talk about Charles Schwab Field a little bit. I also was joined by KP, Kyle Perry, on Friday.
Yes.
For 2 hours. He provided some insight that I might also add in there throughout this next segment. You're listening to the Happy Hour. Huge thanks to our friends at Empire Fence and Netting. We're live from the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha, 12th and Cass Street. On the corner, you can't miss the big white tent just a block south of Charles Schwab Field. We'll step aside, come right back from Omaha on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Ooh, what a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
By now, most of you know how important the Honda of Lincoln sales and service team are to the Lincoln market. Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear from Honda of Lincoln to tell you about the great news they just received. Andy, please tell us all about it.
Each year, the Lincoln Journal-Star has an award program called the Lincoln Choice Award, where the customers in Lincoln get to choose the best places to do business. Great pleasure I get to announce that Honda of Lincoln has won the award for buying new cars, used cars, automotive repair, and even oil changes.
That is amazing, Andy. Any more good news?
Yes, there is, Charlie. We now have more than 100 new Hondas in stock, with hundreds on the way, and a huge selection of all makes and models on our pre-owned lot.
Incredible. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador online at prg-ne.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We are live on the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. All places for you guys to see what's going on. What it looks like in one area of the Blur tailgate. There's a whole other area that is a lot busier. If Rico wants to flip that camera around really
See
quick, that we can just show
Look at that,
the
everybody.
folks at home if
Look
you
at
are
that.
on the video stream.
Crazy.
You can chime in on the text line as well, 402-464-5685 on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line as well. All right, guys, we talked about it. We briefly mentioned it before we went to break there. Two games that are on deck today. One is at 1 o'clock in just about 30 minutes or so, and that's NC State and Florida in an elimination game. And then at night, it's the chance to kind of be in the driver's seat in the second bracket, in the winner's bracket game between Texas A&M and Kentucky. A&M knocks off Florida earlier in the weekend, and then Kentucky was able to get the best of NC State. Rico, you posed a question about what's changed, right? Because early in the TD Ameritrade
When it was
days,
TD Ameritrade Park, and now it's Charles Schwab Field, it was thought of as a pitcher's ballpark.
Yeah.
It was not. There weren't a lot of balls flying out of the park. They had a home run derby, like I said, that first year, and I believe it was less than 10. I know that won the home run derby. Yes, they're college players, but still, they should be able to hit more than 10 in a home run derby. So it was thought, okay, this is going to be kind of a small ballpark. You're going to have to, manufacture some runs here. Well, these last couple of years, and especially right now, this year, the ball's flying out of the park. Just this entire year, during Creighton's home games, when Nebraska came here and played Creighton, the ball has been exploding off bats and leaving the yard in a hurry. And I don't know what's changed since this park has been built. Is it the equipment? Are the balls juice like everybody makes fun of with the MLB? Have the players just gotten that much bigger and stronger? Or I don't know. Has the weather changed? Is the wind flying out? Is the wind blowing out of the park more often?
Well, and Austin, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the bats have actually gotten away from being able to just hit with so much pop. Once the BB core became the thing, it's not like it was at Rosenblatt. Now
that was a
Rosenblatt
composite.
that was the composites, right?
Yeah, those balls were flying.
I think a lot of it's the players. I think a lot of it's the players. Like you look at guys like Jack Caglione and Vance Honeycutt from North Carolina. The list goes on and on. We talked about it right when we opened up the show. Is that we not only are there's chalk teams, right, the highest rated teams here, but also some of the highest rated prospects that are expected to get picked in the early rounds of the draft later this month. I think it's a combination of those two things that you have just the best talent here. And in college baseball, too, I think the hitting is going to be a little bit more consistent than the pitching at times also when you're looking big picture.
That's probably fair. I mean, the data revolution is upon us. It continues to take place, right? Teams are tracking swings. They're tracking exit velocities. And you can go all the way back to Ted Williams, right? This isn't just some newfangled information. Ted Williams was saying, hit the ball in the air to the pull side, you get the best results. Maybe the greatest hitter to ever walk the plane.
Yeah.
So teams are coming around to it with official numbers on it now. So that the bats are a little more dead. That they keep changing the baseball. You never really know year to year, but it's not as much of the super bouncy, happy fun ball as it was maybe a few years ago when there was a lot being said. And the last thing, to Nick's point about the prospects, a lot of the best hitting prospects are here.
Go.
No Hagen Smith, no Jonathan Santucci. There's not a lot of the high level pitchers that are here with a Dave Van Horn, Arkansas, with a Brian Holiday from Oklahoma State. So of the prospects that are here, you don't see a lot of the best, most consistent pitchers, which I think adds to it. Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, second-team All-American. Come on.
I suppose. Here's what I say. Austin, you and I had this lengthy discussion, and something that you brought up about how the types of teams that are here, it's not impossible for a team that plays like Kentucky, obviously, to make it to the NCAA or to the College World Series. But we had this lengthy discussion in Stillwater about, is this which philosophy do teams need to start diving into? And it feels like, and maybe this is just the way baseball is going, it's going to have to be, you're going to have to be able to hit the ball. It's not just it's not, you don't have the ability to anymore say, yep, you know what, when postseason comes around, and this is where Nebraska is interesting, because as I'm thinking about this on the fly, Nebraska is good early in the season when temperatures are cooler, when the ball's not bouncing as much, when the little things matter the most. However, we saw it in Stillwater where it was very warm and the ball jumps. We're seeing it here where at this time of the year, you're not playing on a cold March night. This is a very, very warm, humid day in Omaha. The ball's going to fly. And yes, we've seen where the wind's playing in and it's held balls up. But if that wind is either neutral or blowing the favorable way, I think we're going to start to see the hitting teams later in the season, i.e. Florida is a perfect example to where they can get away with mediocre pitching because they're fully capable of scoring 12 runs a game. That's what makes this Kentucky run, I think, so not improbable, but just surprising, is that they were able to handle it. And teams like that are able to handle it when they play in the warmer parts of the country.
It's an interesting mix because to some degree we're having the Iowa football conversation. Iowa football has been built to win the Big Ten West. What are they going to look like in the full Big Ten with 18 teams? It's going to be different for them, and I think it's different when you get to the College World Series as well because Nebraska specifically on the baseball side was built to win the Big Ten, right? Pitcher of the year, Brett Sears, probable next Friday guy up. Mason McConaughey was really good. Now, granted, they did struggle somewhat on Sundays and in the midweek, but you won series in the Big Ten. You took 2 out of 3, and if all you have to do is win 3 games in a regional, maybe you get your ace back for a Game 7. So all you have to do is have the 2 best pitchers, except unless Nebraska is hosting, they are going to travel to a warm weather climate more often than not. So there's a fine balance between building to win your conference, where you will play the majority of your games, and looking big picture to, if we want to compete in regionals, maybe we have to drop an extra Big Ten weekend to sell out for some more power, to sell out for a gap-to-gap kind of guy. you can't get away from your identity and how you want to build to win your conference, because that to me is Nebraska's most consistent ticket to hosting a regional, is winning the Big Ten. But I think Nebraska has to get to that point first, where it's winning the Big Ten 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10 years, and then they can start building for, okay, how do we win in a regional down south? You have to be well-rounded to be here, right? All of these teams have won shootouts. All of these games have won slugfests. But what are you primarily built on? How does that carry over? That's what I think Nebraska and a lot of these teams have to answer.
You know, it's not impossible. The way that you're talking about it makes it seem as if, you know, it's going to be, and it will be, it's going to be extremely difficult for a Big Ten team outside of the USCs, the UCLAs, Oregon, Washington, whatever, the warmer weather ones, to make it further in this NCAA tournament. Because as you see this year, it's ACC, SEC. It's the warm weather teams. You know, sans Virginia, it's warmer in Virginia, but still kind of cold. So it just makes it seem as if, like, I don't know what Nebraska is going to, like you said, kind of go for like a power guy. But you guys both mentioned it when you were down in Oklahoma City, or at Oklahoma State in Stillwater, when you saw the guys from Florida. They just look different. Yeah. So what is it? How is Nebraska going to attract those guys away from, you know, the gigantic SEC, you know, all of those teams, the ACC and all of those teams? How is Nebraska in the Big Ten going to be able to attract those guys away from those schools in order to compete with those teams?
Is it something as simple as like allowing a fluke? Like getting a fluke to happen, you get a favorable draw in a regional. After you take care of business, it's not the whole. I'm not saying the whole season is a fluke.
Yeah,
you win your conference like Nebraska probably should, because they have some of the better investment into the sport when you're looking at the conference specifically. Then you get a favorable draw. You win a regional. You compete in a super, or maybe you win a super and you're here. Obviously, very difficult to do, but you're sitting there going, yeah, you know what? Probably statistically, we're not supposed to be here. Our stats don't match up. Our roster doesn't match up with the size of other teams, but here we are.
Just worked out.
I think like that is how you start, but also you don't want to build your roster and have this thought process of we're just working towards a fluke.
That's just the thing, because it's kind of the same conversation with Husker football, where something needs to change. It might feel like luck, but Nebraska football needs to capitalize on Dylan Raiola, right? That was the spark. That's something different. Nebraska didn't earn or deserve Dylan Raiola based on the play on the field. You cannot tell me that they did, but they got him. Okay, now you got him.
Yeah.
Now what?
Take advantage. Ryan Bolt wasn't that guy. Max Anderson shouldn't have been at Nebraska. Nebraska didn't fully.
People forget.
He was an
People
A&M commit.
forget.
Yeah. So
Shout out to COVID in a negative way.
Right. Nebraska didn't fully capitalize on Max Anderson, right? They did as a freshman, right, with him and Bryce Matthews, right? That's another one. Where I think Nebraska's path is, in terms of the talent, is make sure that the in-state talent lives up to its reputation, that it's legitimately sought after, you know, national talent. Tyson Lewis isn't coming to Nebraska, probably never will. Cale Fountain, probably too good for Nebraska. But what you need is one of those guys to take a chance on Nebraska. You need one of those guys who have been a dyed-in-the-wool Nebraska fan from birth, where all they've ever wanted to do is put on a Nebraska jersey. They have to be that good. They have to come, and they have to bring their buddies from the national circuit to say, hey, let's build something at Nebraska. And those buddies from across the country have to say, yeah, Nebraska's been a regional team. I can see myself fitting in. I like playing with this guy. I don't mind a little bit of cold. I know we can do something here. The facility's nice. So I think it's going to start in-state with one of those guys that you get to take a chance on Nebraska. Then they deliver at the biggest stage. They lead to that fluke year where you're a 3 and you run through a regional. You're a 2 and the 1 loss to the 4 and you take advantage. It's going to take some stars aligning, but once that spark hits and catches, there's no reason Nebraska can't be a consistent supers team.
Okay, so we got this question on the text, or comment more so, on the text line, 402-464-5685. Wet Blanket chimes in and says, do you guys know that Oregon, USC, and UCLA are coming to the Big Ten Conference? If Nebraska's winning 3 out of 5 Big Ten titles, then they're a legit CWS contender. Okay, let's be realistic here. USC isn't a world beater baseball specific program.
Not what it was in the 70s.
Not yes.
Or 90s.
Oregon is probably the most talented. They've made 2 straight super regionals. So yes, Wet Blanket, you're correct on that. UCLA isn't the number 1 seed. Also, that they were back in 2022. I believe,
UCLA was
2021.
UCLA was
the
that
year
team
that
late 2010s.
Because Michigan was the team that went to UCLA
and beat them.
beat them as when they were the number 1 overall
Late
seed. However,
2010s was UCLA's run.
yeah, back in the
Trevor
late
Bauer,
years,
Garrett Cole.
in the late
Yeah,
years
and
of
before,
Rosenblatt.
yeah.
So, which by the way they lost to South Carolina. So anyway, so in the championship series, that is Jackie Bradley Jr. that team. Anyway,
shout out to the Gamecocks.
Here's what I would throw in also. That's where the Big Ten Conference as a whole has a unique opportunity in the changing landscape, right? When you look at SEC, they're going to add Texas, Oklahoma, and that climate doesn't change a whole lot earlier in the season as it would be in Kentucky or in Louisiana or somewhere in the southeast part of the country, Florida for that matter.
That SEC baseball conference is ridiculous.
But no, what I'm getting at is the Big Ten Conference as a whole has an opportunity. We talk so much about the early points of the year, and this goes back to, all right, how can you get some attention on the Big Ten Conference? Because, guys, also, we talk so much about the SEC. The ACC is so good, too, and they're in the similar part of the country. And I think a big part is that you're getting eyeballs on those teams from the get-go. And the Big Ten, not Nebraska, because Nebraska will go to tournaments. They'll go down to Dallas, play at Globe Life. Those are big and important pieces. Nobody else does that. Not a lot of other Big Ten teams play in those types of tournaments. They'll go somewhere south or they'll go somewhere on the West Coast or Southeastern Coast, but they'll just play a 4-game set. And that's where Nebraska's different than I think like the Michigan States of the world. And part of that is because those tournaments don't want Michigan State.
And Nebraska needs to continue doing that, right? Go play in Dallas, go play in Arlington, go to Phoenix for one, go to San Diego.
Yeah.
For one. If Nebraska can start one, get an SEC team to pitch in and host a tournament down in Orlando at some AAA ballpark or somewhere in the Southeast, where Nebraska's unique in the Big Ten is it's willing to go and travel for these early season tournaments against big name teams.
Yeah.
We talk about investing, right? How Nebraska's budget is in the bottom quartile of teams that made the NCAA tournament. It might not be a direct investment. You need more of those. But an indirect sort of investment in the talent base in the program is to continue to travel to these and to, when you're out there, put in some legwork, right? If you can be on the road, if you can see some high school prospects, do everything in your power. Host meet and greets, host fan events, get to know the local talent. So even if you don't get them to campus, you're at least in their mind. You're out and about, you're visible, and say, hey, we're out here more often. If I'm Nebraska, I'm pushing to play on the West Coast as often as I can. Yeah, you want UCLA and Oregon to come to you, but you also want to go there as often as you can.
Here, I was just going to say, how about this? I mean, I've already put this idea out there, and I don't know the logistics or the realisticness of it or anything like that. But in reality, it's if you're Nebraska, instead of playing College of Charleston or not College of Charleston, but somebody in the southeast part. Yes, somebody in the southeast part of the country. What if you scheduled a conference series in early March?
Yeah,
out at UCLA, where the weather's a little bit more, you can handle it a little bit better.
And then later in the year, go to like a Bakersfield or an Irvine.
Yes,
or something.
I was going to say, why Fullerton, or if you want that home series, then that's when you get to, hey, Michigan State, come on down, right? Like,
why don't
you can still have those, but also it doesn't only benefit Nebraska and UCLA or Purdue and Oregon. It benefits the whole conference because it not only gives you a chance to maybe get a couple more marketable games, but early in the season, in those games or in those tournaments, folks aren't marketing Nebraska and Baylor. They were marketing Oklahoma and Texas Tech. Yeah. That's the types of games that they're marketing. Figure out a way to where the conference as a whole and as a runoff, Nebraska in this case, and other Big Ten schools can all benefit from it.
And this is one of those things where, I don't understand the marketing or the logistics as well, but if you're going to go midweek and you want to get those games in, why don't you go Long Beach or Cal State Fullerton or San Diego State when you're going to go out for a series against UCLA or USC, where you can go out there and then you don't have to worry about, flying to or driving to a Kansas State, driving back, and then flying out to UCLA a day later, where you can go out there and, it's going to cost a little bit more because you're going to have to pay for the hotels to stay out there. But you go out there, you play those teams who are still really good baseball schools, and you get to play that conference game against the UCLAs, the USCs. You go up to Oregon, Washington, just make it a West Coast swing.
I think it's interesting. You look at this College World Series also, guys, and there's we mentioned storylines. Every single team you can kind of pick one thing out of. I think also transfer portal plays a factor into this, certainly. because you have a Tennessee who had to rebuild their entire pitching staff and is 2-0, and you have other teams that have kind of really went into their philosophy. Kentucky into that small ball approach, the pitchers and throwing strikes and just playing strong defense, and they're also 1-0 and have a chance to be in the driver's seat tonight in the second bracket. So there's different ways, I think, to win. I think there's certainly the flashy way, but then it depends on geography, because we mentioned it, right, guys? The ball will fly a little bit more today if the wind's neutral or calm, or even if it's blowing out, obviously. But that's why we are seeing maybe more home runs in the Big Ten tournament than we are normally or expecting going in, is because the Big Ten home runs are not flashy. Like, the numbers are not flashy. You don't have teams that are hitting over 130 home runs on the season. And you don't have, what was the statistics? One of the teams that played yesterday had 5 guys with over 20 home runs. There are Big Ten teams that don't have a single guy with 20 home runs. So I think you're seeing geography play a factor into it. The ball naturally is not going to fly in March and early April and obviously in late February. And so you're not going to get those types of numbers, and you're not going to get those statistics that jump off the page. But here in Omaha, that's not to say the Big Ten Conference doesn't have guys that are capable of that. Mm-hmm. Here in Omaha, the ball's bouncing a little bit more on June 17th when you have a team in Texas A&M that hits 132 home runs on the year.
I mean, Creighton might be finding a way to do that here soon with their new coach.
You want to talk about investment?
That's a big one.
I mean, we can talk about investment. They stole away a pitching coach from South Florida as well. And so you're talking about once again, the geography piece of it plays a factor, but ultimately Creighton goes out, they go and hire a head coach in waiting. Mm-hmm. Mark Kingston is not going to be the head coach calling the shots next year. I'm sure there will be a factor, but Scott Service Ed Service is still the manager next year for the Creighton Blue Jays. They just hired a head coach in waiting, formerly the head coach just as late as this last year, and Mark Kingston, who's well known for his stuff in the Midwest. Used to be at Illinois State, built them to be a pretty strong power group of 5 program. Now goes to South Carolina, then now got fired after making an NCAA regional this year. Not good enough for South Carolina. Creighton, with a little bit of investment and money to make their Big Ten or Big East program competitive.
So is he on the coaching staff this coming year? Like, what? How
He'll
all
be
does
associate
that
head
work
coach,
out?
I would assume he's on the staff.
Yeah.
This is just hanging out, just walking around, just going to Creighton games, sitting in the box, just like, oh, so this is gonna be my team.
He'll be in the dugout. I mean, I'm sure there's things like that.
Well,
but
and see, that's the difference between what Nebraska did and what Creighton did. Creighton went and got a guy that was a head coach previously
in the best conference.
In the best conference, right, at a program with some history and tradition. And again, I don't mean this as a slight or a knock on Will Bolt, right? But he was a head coach at the JUCO ranks. He was a top assistant, right, for Rob Childress and played for Dave Van Horn. There's a difference there, right? Creighton won't be Mark Kingston's first big job. Nebraska was Will Bolt's first big job. Not to say Will Bolt can't grow into the role, but Creighton went and got someone ready-made. Nebraska's kind of dealing with some of the ups and downs and the learning curve, I think, of hiring a first-time big boy head coach.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot more we can get to. We'll step aside, come back when we return. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw, what we expect our predictions for tonight. It's a short segment, so we'll talk about predictions for tonight before we enter the 1 o'clock hour. We're live from the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton Omaha. We're here until 6 p.m. Come on out. You can buy your tickets at the door or online at blurevents.com/Omaha. We'll step aside, come right back on the happy hour. Huge thanks to our Empire Fence and Netting friends for their support of the program as always. Be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know that dollar bill you've got stuffed in your wallet, purse, or pocket? Give it a little respect because it could win you millions. Lotto America from the Nebraska Lottery is here, and it only costs $1 to play. It has a $2 million starting jackpot with drawings every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. What's more, you can add the All-Star bonus for an additional $1 to multiply any prize won. So unwrinkle that dollar bill in your glove box and play today. Lotto America top prize odds 1 in 26 million.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Special thanks to Platinum Partner Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, delivering dependable insurance coverage for your auto, farm, and home for over 130 years. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein powder ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road. The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Herbie the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Happy hour here at the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton Omaha Live here for the Men's College World Series. Again, happy hour. It's Rico. It's Austin. Nick is going to be sitting on the other side of the table. We decided Austin's beautiful face had to be up front and on camera since he was joining us on our show. Again, get down here, guys. The Blur Tailgate from 10 a.m. to 6. We're here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Blur Tailgate goes all the way to midnight. You can get down here, corner of 12th and Cass, the big white tent. You're not going to miss it. All-inclusive bar and buffet. 18, count them, 18 big, large TVs showing live baseball games, showing live sports currently right now until the baseball games get on. Multiple seating options, including the hammock that as soon as this show is over, I'm going to go lay in for a little bit. I'll tell you what, I'm laying in that hammock for a little bit.
There you go. They got Pong, they got Connect 4, they got bags, cornhole, all that stuff.
Have you lost in any of them yet, or are you undefeated?
I lost quite a few in cornhole on Friday nights.
You're not supposed to admit that. You're just supposed to say you're undefeated.
Well, I'm not undefeated. So I guess so. We were told big upset going on in the Euro League.
Oh, who's
where
playing?
Slovakia is up on Belgium 1-0.
Oh,
and
no.
they just won. They just beat
Slovakia
Belgium.
won?
Slovakia won 1-0 over Belgium. But anyway, all right, guys, as we round out the noon hour here.
Do you want to? Okay, so since this is a shorter segment, did you want to keep with baseball, or did you want to kind of just a quick little get into that video that I sent you guys the other day of what was it, Albania trolling Italy fans?
Oh, the spaghetti
by breaking dry spaghetti in front of them.
Go ahead.
That was incredible.
Take it away, Rico.
So Albania, it's Euro leagues. They're playing, the different countries are playing each other in soccer right now, football as they call it. And it's the big joke that Italians, it's not even a joke. They prefer it. You put the spaghetti, the dry spaghetti, into the pot. Don't break it. Even if it doesn't fit, it'll it'll turn into noodles, and then you'll be able to boil it. All that right there. Well, people like to break it, and it just breaks the Italian people's hearts. So Albania, in some lighthearted fun, some lighthearted trolling, was taking lots of spaghetti and breaking them in front of Italian fans' faces. And you see there's videos of it, the Italian fans falling to their knees and playing along with the joke, just being heartbroken by all of the spaghetti being broken. And my question to you guys when I sent that video was, what is kind of the Big Ten equivalent? What is the Nebraska equivalent of that?
Ooh, it's got to do something. Nebraska's equivalent's corn. Something.
Yeah, but like
or,
what?
Or
like
what if someone just took a runza and snapped it in half in front of a Nebraska?
But it's something
insanely hot.
But it's like a food thing that you don't do. So like with corn, like what is some like how do you make your corn? How are you not supposed to make it?
Vertical.
Yeah, you're holding the corn and you're eating it that way. I don't know what would it be? I want to ask the text line too, the 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Hammond text line. Like, is there something, but like, and then for just other Big Ten teams, like, what is the food equivalent to breaking dry spaghetti in front of an Italian person?
I'm not well versed enough into Purdue's culture to know what's mad about it.
A part of me thinks, with the Nebraska, they love their steaks, Omaha steaks, is cooking a steak well done.
Yeah, that's up there.
Steak and ketchup.
Yeah, a lot of people freaked out when Patrick Mahomes did that.
There's got to be something with Wisconsin with like the beer and the cheese and the hot dogs and all that. I'm trying to.
Would it be something with the cheese curds, like I don't know, like so it's not when you eat it, it doesn't pull apart. It's just fried, or you don't even cook it.
Well,
I don't know. These are questions. These are very important questions.
I feel like we have to give the corn one to Iowa because Iowa doesn't have culture or other food. All they have is corn. Nebraska at least has other options.
Lemonhead says moldy cheese in Wisconsin.
Yeah. See, like those things, that's everywhere, though. You're going to rub me the
Blue
wrong
cheese,
way.
though?
It's going to make me feel a certain type of way. If
So
you're
somebody,
out there eating moldy cheese.
somebody deep frying like a moldy, like a blue cheese thing instead of what is it,
I don't
cheddar?
know.
Is that Wisconsin's thing?
I'm out on this whole conversation. I don't know. I don't know much about. I don't know enough about it. So
That's why I asked the text line. They know.
Okay, let's do this. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification because the reason we were doing predictions is because game starts in less than 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds for station identification. Make sure we get that in, and then let's come back and predict the 1 p.m. game here on the ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, so it's time. We got our elimination game coming up in just a few short minutes. We'll talk more maybe in depth about these, but it's NC State, Florida coming at you in just a few minutes from Charles Schwab Field. Elimination game. Florida, obviously the lowest rated team in the country in this College World Series. So many home runs. They can hit the ball. Liam Peterson was on the mound. We know the starting pitcher is going to be the tall lefty and projected top 5 pick in the Major League Baseball draft, Jack Caglione. Quickly, guys, what's our pick?
I am going to go with NC State just because they had their heart broken in 2021, and I want them to continue their run and not leave quite yet. I'm a big fan of the Wolfpack for absolutely no reason.
Austin?
I am very clearly not wearing NC State Wolfpack gear today. So I have to root against little brother. I am going with Florida. I think their run continues. Been here a lot. And just having seen them in person, it's hard to get those images out of my head. So I got the Gators. Here's the thing, though. Cags is going to give up 4+.
Okay, so that's. Do we expect this to be a high-scoring game?
Yes, Cags is not it on the mound.
Well, so that's
this is his last pitching appearance of his career
ever. I agree. I would say we'll dive into that why maybe in the 1 o'clock hour. I would say this. I'm going with Florida as well. They were actually my national championship pick. I'm going to be honest.
How dare you?
Florida, they're just playing baseball, good baseball at the right time. They played a good game against Texas A&M. Texas A&M did a better job of just honestly limiting the Florida Gators' high-powered offense, right? So I would say this with Florida. I would expect a high-scoring game. I think it's going to go this way. I think Florida's going to attack early.
Okay.
Cags is just intimidating just because of the name. Austin, you and I saw him. The size is intimidating. Having that type of body and presence on the mound can be a little jarring, even for the best teams and best rosters on a stage like this. However, I agree with you. I think Cags eventually, especially like the second time through the lineup, could get kind of rocked around a little bit. The guy has 33 home runs at the plate this season. He's got less than 25 strikeouts on the year. They shifted him on Saturday night, They shifted him to where nobody was on the left side of the infield. They had 4 outfielders for Jack Caglione. I mean, this is a guy that's obviously well-respected in the college baseball game. Not the greatest on the mound, but, man, he can do a lot of damage at the plate. Florida has a lineup also that can just beat you 1 through 9. And so I'm gonna go with the Gators as well.
If Caglione gives up too many runs on the mound, do you think he presses too hard at the plate, or he's still good?
No, I think I would trust Cags at the plate. Here's what I would say. What number is too many runs?
That is a good question.
Florida's overcome a lot. Cags has gotten shelled a few times. They've come back to win. So
I mean,
even at 10, I don't feel uncomfortable.
I say, is there such thing as too many runs?
Especially at the College World Series, especially on a daytime game. I like the situation and the outside parameters just matching too much up. I personally feel like for a Florida victory. So we'll see. That game just about to get going in about not 2 minutes or so. They just went to their final commercial break before first pitch between the Gators and the Wolfpack. Let's step aside, talk a little bit more about it. I also want to get your guys' thoughts on the golf weekend because there was a lot of it. And the U.S. Open was really, really good on Sunday. And Rory left the course in a pretty abbreviated fashion. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our final thoughts before this game gets going too quickly between Florida and NC State right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design. Take a computer course. Learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans, begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Do you need your event or venue secured? Call Tank Security Team. Tank Security Team is Lincoln's #1 non-lethal security company. Tank Security Team offers first-class security with efficient and quicker response times. Hire Tank Security Team. No hassle, no headaches. Call Tank at 402-310-3589 and get secured today.
Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and they need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to the UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin games. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, probably sunny, windy, and hot. See a high around 93. Tonight, probably cloudy and windy, with a low around 77. And tomorrow, probably sunny and windy again. Showers likely in the afternoon. See a high around 89. Meteorologist Kyle Cluck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll go for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's the 1 o'clock hour from the Blur Tailgates. It's Hilton, Omaha, 12th and Cass Street. Just 1 block south of Charles Schwab Field in the good old Omaha, Nebraska. NC State and Florida are officially underway. Good-looking uniform matchup. NC State with the white vest and red sleeves, while Florida with the orange jersey and white pants as well. So Nick Sainert, Rico, and Austin Norman with you. Just like I said, 12th and Cass Street. You can get your tickets now at blurevents.com/Omaha. And what I was going to say, guys, talking about Blur real quickly, is the fact that I appreciate them grilling their burgers.
Yes.
Like actually grilling them. And when I say that is you come to one of these things a lot of the times and it's, hey, let's just throw them in a crock pot and let them warm up because they're already pre-cooked.
Yep.
They grill them. We could see, we could walk behind 10 yards to our left or behind DP or in front of you guys and go, yeah, there's a big giant grill and a guy is flipping them on the grill.
I'm parked right there. I got out of my car, smelled the burgers immediately. Mouth started watering.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I want to thank Blur Tailgate for having us out once again. It's always a good time. out here at 12th and Cass Street. Second year we've been out here hoping for it. Many more to come.
Many
All right.
moons to come. Who's the best jersey here?
Okay, best jersey.
Because I am partial to that orange Florida. Just I don't know why, but it just reminds me of the College World Series for whatever
They've
reason.
been here 9 out of the last 14.
Orange Florida's pretty good.
I really like
Florida
the Tennessee.
State.
I really like Florida State.
The
I
gold
also-
ones?
The garnet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the gold trim.
I like Tennessee's all black balls that they had last night.
The smoky grays for Tennessee are
So you
pretty
can
hard
never
to
go
beat.
wrong with a smoky gray. Okay. Was my eyes playing tricks on me, or did Texas A&M have like blue hats?
It was red, white.
Yeah,
and
they
blue.
did their American jerseys.
Okay, I was
Red, white,
I was very thrown off. I was like, when did blue become a part of their color scheme?
I am.
Once Chubb Alberts got there.
Well, blue was a part of Nebraska's color scheme while he was here.
Yeah. So Ashton Wilson gets hit by a pitch. Interesting. That's how he got on base.
He's back.
That's crazy.
Nonetheless, let's talk about tonight's game
So
between Kentucky and Kentucky and Texas A&M. Texas A&M knocks off Florida. Kentucky beats NC State on Friday. It was Saturday, rather. It was, and I would ask you guys, little bit of contrasting styles. Texas A&M has hit 132 home runs, while Kentucky 82 on the season. You're talking about 40-some potential more that they've hit than the other team. What's the play for Kentucky to win this game tonight?
Kentucky's got to play to the ballpark. It's not the power lineup. It's not star-studded. Kentucky is the character, the flair, the personality of this tournament, right? Think of their guy with the dyed blue mustache and the aviators on.
Yeah,
that's great.
Nick Lopez, not Nicky Lopez,
Yeah.
but Nick
Different guy.
Lopez. Right. For Kentucky to continue its run, it's got to show up again and not be scared of the moment, right? A&M's been here time and again. A&M's the big money power program in this matchup. But Kentucky, I think, is better built for the ballpark traditionally. Now A&M might be more built for the ballpark as it currently plays. That is maybe the most star-studded lineup this side of Tennessee, right? The top half of that lineup, every single one of them's a threat to hit a ball to a gap, to go yard. No Braden Montgomery. That's what I'm really bummed about, right? I wish a guy like him, who's a projected top 10 at least, if not top 5 pick in the draft, was here for A&M. But with Gavin Groshans or Grosshouse and then Jace LaViolette, he's the guy that I'd love to see in person. I think he's got some of the most pure natural power in all of college baseball. A&M star-studded. Kentucky's the story. I think Kentucky's got to try to play to the ballpark, really.
I'm a big fan of Kentucky, and I want them to continue going on in this tournament. And I agree with you. You got to play to the ballpark, play your style of game. Don't try to hit it out of the park just because everybody else is seemingly hitting it out of the park. Do what you need to do. Control A&M on the base pass. Don't allow them to get going and get rolling early. Do what you have to do, Kentucky, and don't let the moment, it's your first time here, yeah, but don't let the moment get to you and realize, we have a chance in our first ever College World Series appearance to go up 2-0 and, as Nick has said multiple times, be in the driver's seat. Don't let that moment get to you. Don't let the star-studded lineup and everything that Texas A&M has get to you. Look, this is a team that you've played in the SEC. This is a team that, you've gone against multiple times. Just continue to play the way that you have this season, the way that got you to this moment, and you should be just fine.
We mentioned Texas A&M, and they've been here, right? How about Jim Schlossnagle? Do you want to talk about a guy that's been here 7 times? This is his 7th trip as a head coach to the College World Series. He did it for 4 years in a row, back with TCU from, I think it was like 2014 to 2017. Did it 4 years in a row. Never won, but did get to the College World Series with the Horned Frogs 4 straight times. Also did it back with TCU in 2010. It looks like. So then
I
you
have a
look
hat
at
from that appearance.
his time at Texas A&M in his first year in 2022. Went to the College World Series in 2022. Got eliminated in a regional last year. Makes it back here in 2024. More so than just the program has been here, Jim Schlossnagle has been here. And that is so valuable. We're seeing it with Florida. We see it just within the postseason, right? Just the postseason playing in regionals. Brian O'Connor. Obviously, you had
even Tony V at this point.
Maneri with LSU back in the days, and then it was Jay Johnson. And now you have there's so many. The list goes on and on of coaches that just have a more of an advantage because they've been here so often. And Schlossnagle was one of those. I still think, that was one of the more fascinating hires was when TCU lost Schloss to Texas A&M. Talking about an in-state program, taking your head coach. Yeah, it's just maybe a little bit of a step up from the Big 12 to the SEC, but it's not like the Big 10 to the SEC. It's not like it was that was a not lateral move necessarily, but a surprising move because of the success that he had for so long. 734 wins at TCU. Now here through Texas A&M, he's 131-60.
They just poached him, right? Like it's not like he was fired or let go. Texas
left.
A&M was just like, hey, we have more money. We want you to be the coach here. And like you said, had so much success at TCU, had perennial power at TCU down there in Fort Worth.
Won 69% of his games.
Texas A&M is just like, hey, we have more money. We're in the SEC. Come on. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
In a football sense, it would have been like Gary Patterson leaving for Texas to replace Mac Brown.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I just think I think that was so every now and then we get some of these surprising hires and guys getting taken away from current programs in college baseball. And we saw it with Ohio State where their head coach goes down and they want to eventually, he just wants to be closer to family down in Texas. So he's going to be a top assistant coach with TCU, correct?
Yep.
So with TCU, and then you have other places like Creighton who are able to get a guy that was freshly fired from South Carolina, and Mark Kingston to be their head coach in waiting.
Michigan's head coach leaving after their College World Series appearance.
That's a big step up, though.
It is.
It is. And you can't blame Bakich. And also, it is somewhat exciting to see that he's had success.
Shoot, even Rob Vaughn from Maryland to Bama. There's
right.
Another one.
Yeah, because of the whole gambling stuff.
Yeah.
So because Bohannon had to get fired or got fired. And they were like, well, we got to find the next up and coming. And that was Rob Vaughn, who was at Maryland after winning the Big Ten title last year. And they ended up losing their head coach and taking a little bit of a step back this year as well. So it's certainly something to watch as this series kind of continues. Like once Kevin O'Sullivan is done, that'll be something interesting. I mean, you're talking about pay raises. Kevin O'Sullivan's getting paid $1.825 million. Will Bolt, $400,000. I mean, you're talking about just the difference, $1.4 million differential in just yearly salary for a team that, certainly has made the postseason, is also fully invested into baseball. It's going to be interesting to see. We know Troy Dannon was down there in Stillwater for a couple of the games. How much investment is there? How much investment? Kyle Perry talks so much about that, where you go a lot of places now, and I mean, Kansas State even just built a new facility for the Wildcats, and they made a super regional and got eliminated last weekend. But nonetheless, you look at the investment, and Nebraska has an opportunity to do some special things.
They're on the table for Nebraska. It's not guaranteed. It's not a given, but the money should be there. It's got to be there somewhere. But then it's not enough to just have money. It's not enough to just allocate resources correctly. We talked in the first hour about, does Nebraska need that fluke, right? Does it need the stars to align? Absolutely it does. Too often in the biggest moments, Nebraska's talent hasn't been ready for the moment, hasn't lived up to the moment, right? You look at even, the game against Texas A&M in men's basketball, right? Against Oregon State, Nebraska's best talent didn't show up for the first two quarters, really. Made a bit of a run in the third. But it's really an institution-wide sort of problem where Nebraska has found itself in position to have more, to do more, to be more time and time again. But then what?
Yeah.
Other teams, other programs, other schools capitalize and take advantage. It just hasn't been Nebraska's turn. And you can't point to one thing necessarily across each program. It's a different thing, different times. But that's how I know Nebraska might not be as close as we think sometimes, because in baseball, the adage is, with mediocre teams, you can lose 2-1 or you can lose 7-6.
Yeah.
When the offense shows up, the pitching doesn't. When the pitching shows up, the offense doesn't. It just feels like it's that way for too many Nebraska programs right now.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's dive into another sports. We'll get away from the baseball diamond. It's still 0-0 in the bottom of the first inning. NC State with a one-out base runner, while Jack Caglione is on the mound, throwing from the left side. We'll step aside. We're at the Blur Tailgate, 12th and Cass Street, and you're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through June 18th is for Father's Day. Buy a cowboy steak and get 2 free 6-ounce sirloins. Plus, the mystery box is back with a $225 value of meat for just $99. Also, 20% off all Smithy pans and 20% off aprons. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Gaina Trucking is hiring for heavy equipment operators and a heavy equipment mechanic. Working at Gaina Trucking is a great career with excellent team culture, with benefit package including competitive pay based on experience, health, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k plan. If you're looking for a new job as a heavy equipment operator or mechanic, apply online at GainaTrucking.com or call 402-794-5000. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, probably sunny, windy, and hot. See a high around 93. Tonight, probably cloudy and windy, below around 77. And tomorrow, probably sunny and windy again. Showers likely in the afternoon. See a high around 89. Meteorologist Kyle Cluck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business, providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans and baked beans, to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Caglione is running into a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the first inning. Bases are loaded after a hit by pitch, a walk, but now allows an RBI single with one out still in the bottom of the first as NC State takes a 1-0 lead. All right, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the rest of the way here. Got about 30 minutes left in the program before we hand things off to Strick and Austin specifically. But once again, we are live from the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're here today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but they are here, until June 22nd. Corner of 12th and Cass, just one block south of Charles Schwab Field. It's the 12th annual tailgate. They have all-inclusive bar. They have a great buffet with incredible hamburgers. I'm contemplating getting another one, gentlemen. But once again, 18 televisions showing all the live games that are going on just a block north of us. And there's a lot of other stuff going on here. Yard games, a cooling tub, Pong. There's a lot of stuff going on here at the Blur Tailgate. Tickets include all-day access. So if you want to go somewhere else, you want to go shop in the little baseball village area, you sure can. And just come on back. You get a wristband and drink tickets. And highly recommend spending the $129. That's the highest package that you can get. You get the lunch and dinner buffet. You get everything you could have ever wanted from the bar, all inclusive. They'll hand you drink tickets, and if you run out, then you can go ahead and get more responsibly, of course.
Yeah, be smart.
But if $129 is a little too steep for you, that's okay. They got other packages, including $109 and $79 as well. So once again, you can go online at blurevents.com/Omaha, or you can walk up to the gate here. Once again, 12th and Cass Street, and purchase your tickets today, right before you walk into the very venue. So
that $129 is worth it though, because you said it. Look, you get everything. You get the drinks, you get the drink tickets, you get the food, you get to hang out under the tent, so you're out of the sun. You get all the yard games. Guess what? You can leave, go to Baseball Village right over there. Go get yourself a cool hat, some T-shirts, some bats, some baseballs, whatever you want to get. Guess what? After you had a burger and a brat here, guess what? You can come back, have another burger, have another brat, have some more drinks. You can leave again, come back, because this place is open till midnight, right? They're out here till midnight.
Open till midnight. I'll tell you this. So the cheapest ticket right now on Ticketmaster for tonight's game between Texas A&M and Kentucky is $76. And that is for section 125, which is just behind the bullpen in left field, row 3. For the outfield seats, the seats that, mind you, used to be $10 for general admission.
It's ridiculous.
All you had to do was wait in the line outside of right field, and you could walk up the ramp and grab your ticket and go
sit wherever.
the game and sit wherever it was, wherever you wanted out in the outfield.
You got to buy one.
Now it's $76. For $79, you can come have a dinner buffet, have all the water, soda. You have a cash bar if you want. However, if you spend, let's just play a hypothetical game here.
Ooh, hypotheticals.
So $76 plus fees, you're looking at probably $100 a ticket for one ticket, right? Hypothetically speaking. Then you have a beer. That's $8. Then you have 2. That's $116.
Then you have a hot dog.
Then you have a hot dog. That's probably $6 there as well. You're looking at $122. For $129,
plus
you can be
did you say
covered.
Parking?
Yes,
Oh, you
parking
got
as well.
yep.
For $129, and this is what we're getting at, folks. If you're not doing anything Tuesday and you want to spend all day down here tomorrow, or if you want to spend all day Wednesday down here on Wednesday, come on down here. Blur Events. They got the misting fans on as well, so
That's
even
so
when it's
nice.
a little cool, you can still enjoy and when it's a little warm, you can try to stay cool through the misting fans. 129 certainly seems scary, maybe on the outside, but in the grand scheme of it all, if you want to make a day out of it, especially for multiple people down here, this is the way to do it. Come on down,
fantastic.
Blur Tailgate. Cags in Florida gets out of the first inning, just allows one run. They leave them loaded. Maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity for NC State there, but nonetheless, NC State does lead 1-0.
Did you see what just happened before that fly out?
I did not.
The ball kind of got away from the catcher. It bounced off of his mitt, like hit the dirt, maybe hit his mitt, maybe his shoe. goes up, hits the bottom of his mask, and gets lodged between his mask and his chest plate. And so the NC State coach came out, and I think they were trying to say that the ball, I don't know, something along the lines, or maybe give somebody a base or something. But yeah, it got lodged there. So instead of getting away from him, it got stuck there, and he was able to grab it.
That helps. It helps. Any way it works. All right, guys, we gotta briefly talk golf for just a moment.
Okay.
Because Bryson DeChambeau, talk about storylines. We said it about College World Series. Let's talk about the storylines for the two golfers at the top of the leaderboard yesterday. You have one guy in Bryson DeChambeau who people just years ago resented. I mean, let's be honest. They were cheering for him not to win. Resented Bryson DeChambeau. Then on the other side, you had Rory McIlroy, who hasn't won since 2019, hasn't won a major since 2014. You're talking about 5 years and then 10 years. You have the whole thing with Rory as well throughout the entire PGA and LIV debacle, where Rory was kind of a puppet, right? Wherever Jay Monahan needed him, they said, hey, Rory, come on over and speak for us. Be the face of the PGA. His golf game certainly lacked. And now, after all that's over, he finally is in a spot to where he can compete on a Sunday, only to choke it away by missing 2 putts within 5 feet. Guys, in putts that were within 4 feet, he was 496 and 496. So you want to talk about a number there? 496 for 496. He had not missed a putt within 4 feet in the last 496 attempts.
That is tough.
And he missed 2. He missed 2 within 5 to close it out on 16 and 18. On holes 16 and 18 yesterday, ends up losing the U.S. Open. It was kind of a mix because Rory choked it away. Bryson made some incredible shots. Some golfers will tell you one of the hardest shots that you can make or have to attempt is a long bunker shot.
Yeah.
And Bryson had to do it from 55 yards out on one of the toughest playing surfaces. Pinehurst was playing so difficult yesterday. There was very, very little room for error. And Bryson lands it within 5 feet. It's just an incredible storyline yesterday to where it was coming down to the wire. It was fun golf to watch on Sunday. Probably the best action in a major on a Sunday since 2019 Masters.
Dude, if you're Rory, like you just got to believe that you're cursed, right? Like there's no way 496 for 496 and you missed 2.
If you want to be an athlete at the highest level, you cannot believe that you're cursed, right? It's for us to say he's cursed because it kind of feels like it, right? 2014 since he won a major. This is Rory. He's like a top 5 golfer in the world.
Exactly.
Still, he's number 2 for a long time. It's bizarre that he hasn't been able to seal the deal. He's been so close so many times. Obviously never won a Masters, but it's been in the conversation there. My heart breaks for Rory. Like you said, kind of being the marionette on the strings, the puppet, just kind of, at Jay Monahan's beck and call. I respect him in the stance he took because it wasn't just like he was getting pushed out there. I think Rory actually believed it and actually stood for it. So you want a guy like that who put his neck on the line for this to get rewarded. Instead, like you said, his game suffered. Then he's there with a chance to win and he doesn't do it. The Bryson DeChambeau arc is one of the most fascinating in all of golf because you think about him, he's overweight, leaning into the data, is he the next Tiger, making him change courses just because of how he's driving the ball?
Just hitting
the crap out of the ball. Like we haven't seen on the tour before, pushing the boundaries of the technology of the day, the swing path revolution, all that he was involved with. And he was really leaning into the data and just being that kind of impersonal, brash, numbers know best, my way or the highway kind of guy. The last, 6 months, maybe 9, we've seen a completely different Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Like actually like a good dude. It's a while. Like we haven't seen this type of like transformative arc this way in golf in a while. Phil's done the opposite. Right, Phil has kind of gone off the deep end.
A lot of players have because they went to the LIV.
Yeah. Well, so a part of that was there any type of, did you guys sense it where, you have the American, you want the American to win the U.S. Open, right? Country and all that stuff, right? But he's with LIV. And then Rory, not American, still with the PGA. Like what was for those huge golf fans, was there some type of loyalty to the PGA, but you want somebody from your country to win the USO? Like what was it like?
You have to remember that LIV and PGA formed kind of a merger.
Kinda.
They're
It was an alliance, you might call
They're
it.
somewhat friendly. Yeah. Talk about remember the ACC or not
Do you want to
ACC,
form
Pac-12, Big Ten alliance.
an alliance.
But nonetheless, so that was what was so crazy about the Rory McIlroy stuff was because he sat there and goes, well, what did I do all this for if you're just going to form an alliance in the end,
Mhm.
right? So that was, I think, what was more, fascinating to kind of keep tabs on. They were cheering USA when Rory missed the putt, and when Rory was walking up to the hole, they were cheering USA because you could tell that folks wanted Bryson. I think so much, even just personally, guys. I haven't, and I wouldn't say that I resented Bryson DeChambeau. I also probably didn't cheer for him not to win, but it was also this case of like, yeah, you know what? I'd probably rather if somebody else wins. Yesterday, I found myself saying, yeah, I was torn. I was so torn because you had Bryson DeChambeau playing with the crowd. He was playing into the crowd, which made the golf environment exciting on Sunday. Obviously, you were close between strokes, right? There was just one stroke at times. Sometimes they were tied, separating the two golfers. But then it was Rory. Then it was the guy that hasn't won. It was such a promising start to his career back in the early 2010s, and he hasn't won since. And his golf game has suffered tremendously. And then he had the off-field stuff with the divorce, and then he wasn't going to get divorced. Now he's back. And it's like through so much of it, yesterday was really, really fun to watch with the U.S. Open.
Are you okay with Rory dipping as quick as he did?
Just gone.
I didn't have an issue with it.
I heard Jake saying something on early break how Rory is normally, we'll talk to the media after regardless of how it goes. But, I mean, with this one, that's heartbreaking. I'd want to get out of there as quick as possible. And the fact that you had the camera on him when he's, like, waiting and he sees the final putt go in and you just have the camera like that. There's his reaction to losing.
That just makes it worse. I think that makes it worse than it actually is. Because there were so many people that were able to follow him out, and they were staring at him, and they had the cameras on him, and he just quickly puts it in the car, and then how he spins out, that makes it worse too. I think there's just a lot of other circumstances that happened where it was like, okay, this makes it look a lot worse than it actually was.
I'm willing to give Rory a pass this time. I mean, he's had heartbreaking losses before. Everyone has their breaking point, though, right? Given how much media he's done, how much of the company line he's towed. He's kept a pretty stiff upper lip, all things considered. He's been so good with and for the game of golf, growing it with the media, that I'm willing to give him this pass, but it can't become a trend, right? If he was just that heartbroken, that upset, that angry, that ready to get out of there, okay, fine. We've all been there, felt that way before to some degree or another. It can't continue, though. Golf, the PGA, needs Rory to continue to be that good soldier, to be a positive face, because for every fan that Bryson wins over, there's one he's not going to.
Yeah.
Right? Dustin Johnson, never been a great talker. Scotty Scheffler, out of contention, was kind of weird. I like Scotty Scheffler. Does he scream face of golf to you? I think he's got to grow into it. He's not Tiger, obviously, but Rory's been successful enough, has enough of a pedigree as an amateur that I think you can be okay with him being the face of golf. But then this has to be the exception to that rule until Scotty Scheffler says, yep, PGA is mine now.
So you calling him the face of golf, my next question was going to be, is there a point where Rory becomes kind of an underdog story with the fact that he hasn't won since 2014?
Is he already?
I would say so.
So your face of the PGA is the underdog.
Yeah, it is.
But I like that
is.
for golf, too.
I think so,
with
yeah.
the kind of the country club feel and accessibility that's always played golf, to have it in a quote-unquote underdog, it's going to be a bit of a weird sell, but I think golf can play it up.
I think so, too. There was one more thing that I wanted to discuss really quickly, and I lost my train of thought. But nonetheless, Pinehurst, I will say this, the field condition or the course conditions played incredible throughout the 4 days. They made it challenging enough, and this is one of those things that if you're just a casual golf fan, you can learn a lot if you actually sit down for 3-4 hours on a Saturday or Sunday and listen. And that sounded harsh, but I didn't mean it that way.
Just sit down and
listen. But no, seriously.
Ever said that before, Rico?
If you do that,
multiple
you
times,
can learn a lot, because I learned a lot this weekend about how courses, and each one is different. They put the pins in places to where it's daring the players to go for it, right? And they have to make the decision of whether or not they want to play it safe or whether they want to
take a chance.
And obviously you have the strokes that come into play, and it's, how much if there was a 5-stroke differential yesterday, Bryson DeChambeau is probably not being as aggressive as he is.
Right.
But it's also that ability of, okay, I got to go out and win a tournament, right? I don't want to take this to a playoff. I got to win a tournament today and right now on this hole. And so it forces them to do it. We saw it where birdies were really hard to come by in the last 5 holes at Pinehurst yesterday. And that was one thing that was praised ad nauseum, was how well and challenging and perfect the course was laid out yesterday. You have the native grass, which makes it very difficult to play out of, but not impossible. You have bunkers that are obviously around the green and make it difficult, but the greens were tough to read. The pins were in difficult pin placements. It was just a really, really, really fun weekend, Saturday and Sunday especially, of golf.
And that's where we talk about the characters of golf as in the golfers themselves, the athletes. The character of these golf courses is fascinating.
And
once you really dive in, you learn the weather, how they interact, how they play traditionally, the changes that they're making to the course, both in terms of the topography, the playing surface, how high or low they cut it. There's a lot there, and there are those places that'll keep it consistent year to year. They like that kind of feel.
Yeah.
There's some that say, oh, these guys shot too well on our course. We're going to switch it up on them. These guys, really struggled with it, and we'll cut them a break here and here and here. But that's where I think golf is even different than baseball, right? We talk about the different, fence lengths and mound heights and backstop distances. Golf is so different because it's all exposed out in the element, right? It is unconstrained.
They moved the tee box up on one of the par 3s, one of the par 4s, and it made it like 316 yards. Well, guess what? When you're Rory McIlroy and driving at 340 consistently, and you can carry at 325, then you have to make a decision of, do I take a little bit off the driver, or do I try to see if my 3-wood can get there? Same story with Bryson DeChambeau. He had to make choices, which makes it so insanely interesting as they are talking and having that discussion with their caddy. But then if they're able to hit the shot, it shows you just how good these guys are. I mean, we're talking about guys that have shot 2 over, 3 over, that finished outside the top 10. Guys, a lot of golfers do that in the first 2 holes. And these guys did it across what would have been 18, 36, 72 holes of golf in 4 days. It's truly kind of, when you boil it down, it's truly fascinating. City Worker did ask this question, and it was laughed at on social media, understandably so. Did you hear the reporter ask Bryson about salting the balls? And what it was, the context with that.
Here comes Florida.
Was that Cags? Yep. Jack Caglione hits a 3-run home run, so Florida now leads 4-1. Nonetheless, back to this.
NC State's already got somebody up in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's Cags' 34th of the year. Hey, I called a jack bomb.
You did.
Okay, nonetheless. Back to the salty ball. Salty golf balls. Salty golf balls.
Testicle Festival's over, people.
Testicle Festival is over. However,
there's another word in there.
It was so fascinating because Bryson talked about this after everybody got through the giggling piece. He said that he soaks the golf balls in Epsom salt because when they will turn over, some of them will turn over, and since they're circular, they're not evenly distributed in weight. And so he compared it to mud in the press conference, to where the ball is going to fly differently if one side has mud on it than if one side doesn't. So he said the weight's not going to be evenly distributed, and when you soak them in the Epsom salt, the heavier side floats to the bottom. So he said we'll go through and we'll mark all the heavier sides so that we know where do we need to place this on the tee, where's the heavier side at. It is.
That's got to be illegal, right?
I would never even think of that.
That's got to be illegal,
Not
right?
as illegal as what Tom Brady did in the 2014 AFC Championship game.
That was legal.
Never forget.
I mean, guys, that's something that's never even crossed my mind. No, not even crossed my mind. We talk about
it's
the
the mad
analytics.
scientist thing.
Yes, and we see it across all sports. There's examples of that across all sports.
There's
right?
some people who just take it to extreme lengths.
Yeah, and it won him a U.S. Open, right? It won him a U.S. Open. Stricky's in the building. Let's go ahead and step aside. Florida's up 4-1 as they're in the top of the second inning. Jack Caglione hits his 34th home run of the season. We'll step aside, come back, and get you ready for On the Block when we return.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from a program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hay season is a race against time. Win that race with an all-new 1 Series round baler from Landmark Implement. The all-new John Deere 1 Series round baler is a revolutionary leap in baler technology that captures near real-time moisture and weight data that can be analyzed through Operations Center to improve your bale quality and farm efficiency. Are you ready to upgrade your hay equipment? Contact your local Landmark location for full details on the new 1 Series round baler and experience the Landmark difference.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so after an inning and a half, Florida has a 4-1 lead on NC State in the top of the second inning. Gators were able to tack on 4 runs on a grand salami from Jack Caglione. How about this, guys? 2 of the 3 runners that were on base were on via a walk.
Not a grand salami. 3-run bomb.
Yeah, excuse me, 3-run home run, not a grand salami.
After a sac fly.
Kate Gerlin hit that sacrifice fly. Anyway, nonetheless.
I got you.
Thank you, Rico. So NC State probably going to need to look at the bullpen here in the next couple of innings because he's over a decent number of pitches.
39 pitches in 1 inning.
Stricky, grab a headset.
Got somebody up in the bullpen pretty much right away after I think it was the second walk, potentially the third walk. Got somebody up in the bullpen right away. Very interesting. I love when it's the elimination games and like this is your last chance. Like it's all hands on deck. So you're 2 innings in and you're like, we need somebody immediately up and getting ready.
That's why it's so valuable to be not only 1-0, but then eventually 2-0, because you have so much more room to work. Hello, Stricky.
Oh, what up?
There he is. How you feeling on a Monday?
Clawed up.
Why? Oh, White Claw. Mango again, huh?
Clawed up.
Yeah.
White
is that
Claw
good?
Mango.
Pretty good.
There it is.
I've only had one
they'll
White
sneak
Claw
up
ever.
on you.
Really?
They'll sneak up on you.
I got some Blue Mountains.
What's up, guys?
How are we feeling, Stricky?
A little overcast today, huh?
Yeah, it's still muggy, though.
Little muggy. Little muggy.
pretty
Muggy.
Still a little muggy. That sun will shine through that cloud every now and then while I look up at you.
Hey, Stricky, you know what?
What?
You, today. Shaky. Shaky.
Don't do my partner like
Yeah,
that.
that's,
Only he can do
that's
me like
right,
that. Come
Rico.
on now.
That's unbelievable that you're
Shaky.
acting like that. Right?
You were here for 2 minutes,
That's
and you coming for your own man's.
But that's off air between me and him. You understand me? That's personal. It's a personal day.
Rich and Mango Claw.
Who's your pick who was your pick at the start of it all to win the College World Series?
See, I'm an underdog guy, man.
Okay.
So I normally root for underdogs. And just by the way that things went, I mean, I know they're on the verge of an elimination, but just how their season went, getting to the finals last year, the final game.
Yep.
And then getting back the way they got back and some of the adversity they had to. I'm actually rooting for Florida.
Yeah. I think,
Florida.
how much do you take into the fact that this is the team that Nebraska lost to?
None.
Yeah.
None. I don't. That means
thank you.
I don't
Thank
like.
you.
I understand where KP was coming from. You lose to the if they go on and win, you lose to the eventual national champion. Like, yeah, you can go back. I don't care about that. You lost. You lost to somebody. It doesn't matter. You lost.
Yeah. Just when it mattered, I mean, they got hot. They rolled their way right into it. They got hot. And it's timing.
So Kags had that 3-run home run, and I always love the conversation of don't let that guy beat you. Don't let that guy beat you, anyone but him. But even the best hitters get themselves out more often than not.
Yeah.
Right? If you're at the College World Series, no one can beat you, right? You can't let anyone beat you. It's the bottom of the lineup setting the stage for the top of the lineup, right? It was 7, 8, 9 reaching before the Curlin sac fly, before the Caglione home run. So, yeah, Caglione ends up with a 3-run home run in the books, but you didn't get 7, 8, 9 out. That is what killed you more so than one swing.
Not to switch sports abruptly, and before we hand it off to you guys on the block, guys, NBA Finals is tonight, 7:30 p.m. It's Game 5 from Boston. Now Boston leads 3-1. Do they get it done tonight, Stricky? Do they win their 18th title?
I will say the only thing that really has this series the way it is just the consistency of bad defense, starting with one of your best players, and that was Luka Doncic. Like just the blow-bys, the breakdowns, the lack of effort on that side of the ball in the biggest game. You can get away with that stuff during the season, but then guess what they're going to keep doing? Just like the old Utah Jazz, whenever they scored on something, DP can attest to this. Whenever the Utah Jazz scored on something, guess what you get?
Right back to it.
Right back.
Right back to it.
Oh, you didn't stop? Right back.
to it.
oh, you made a mistake on that? Right back. And that's what basically Boston did. They just continued to attack the source of the breakdowns, and they won.
Is that like a mentality thing for the person who keeps getting attacked, like targeted? Like it's one of those things where you know it's coming now, and you know exactly what you have to do, but maybe you're overthinking. You're like, okay, maybe if I do this, maybe if I change this and I do this. Is there like a mentality, an overthinking process to that as a part of just the offense knowing, look, we're gonna keep doing this until you stop us? Do you think the defender maybe gets in their own head?
I don't know. It can vary. It depends probably on who it is. I can honestly say that there's two ways to that type of mentality of what you said. On the offensive side, it's similar to what they used to do to Raven for South Carolina.
Okay.
Remember how they used Caitlin Clark was like,
just like, go ahead.
You
shoot
with
it.
us.
Go ahead, shoot it. Why
shoot
not?
that, because we know your jumper is shaky. Right? So that's the offensive side of things. who they used to do that? Tony Allen.
Yes.
You know, they took
Andre
basically
Roberson.
Tony Allen got taken out of a game in when
grandfather.
Memphis was making and they just basically left him out there like he's gonna have to prove it. And that's what they're gonna continue to do. On the defensive side, it's that.
Yeah.
They used to go, I guess, Steph Curry.
Yep.
But when they won it, he would get just enough of stops or do just enough at the right moments in time to help them to win a game. Luka, his improvement on that defensive side, look at the difference of the score. So this is why, to answer your question, Nick, if they played the same way that they played this last game, and Kyrie and Luka, and you saw the difference too, is they were finding other guys, and the other guys weren't hesitant, and they weren't kind of like looking back and trying to get the ball. They were actually aggressive, and if they do that, they got a chance. They got a chance to at least pull out one more, I think.
Don't let Dallas get hot.
A couple interesting stats on this series. Number one, Luka Doncic leads all players in the postseason in steals. Not the mark of a good defender all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can lock a guy up, but I feel like Luka's not locking up. He's an opportunistic guy, right? Kind of cherry picking,
Passing
maybe
lanes.
playing passing lanes a little bit. But the thing that really stood out to me was before the series, Strick and I talked about how much of Dallas's offense in the Western Conference playoffs was predicated on lobs and corner threes. Game one, Dallas had one lob and one corner three. Game two, Dallas had two lobs and one corner three. Game three, they had two corner threes and one lob. Compared to game four, leaps and bounds better. I say tongue firmly planted in cheek. Two lobs, matching their series high, but they hit four corner threes.
There it is.
What tells me is they created enough of those to give Luka and Kyrie space to work. The guys had to play one step closer to the shooters, had to tag the roller one extra step.
Yep. Well said.
What's coming up on the show today, gentlemen?
We have a loaded show for you. On this day in 1992, Charles Barkley traded from Philly to Phoenix. Best NBA players without a ring. We'll go over that. 3 great games in the College World Series so far. Who are some of the best players fans won't be seeing this year, though? We've talked about the guys who are here. What about the ones who aren't? And then Les Miles suing LSU. He is 0.004 of a point shy of 60% winning percentage.
If only he would have won one more game at Kansas.
Oh, darn.
And then ranking the MLB City Connect uniforms. The Dodgers got their second one. We're going to give our top 5, our bottom 5, and the 5 most mid.
Joke's on you. They're all trash.
There it is. That's all coming up on the block. Make sure you stick around from 2 to 4 for that one. We're out here until 6 p.m. until Jay and DP take you home on Old School from 4 to 6 as well. Make sure you still get your tickets while you can at the door or online, blurevents.com/Omaha. 18 TVs, lunch and dinner buffet, drinks, water, soda, mixed drinks, all that for you. Tons of seating options, hammocks, Pong, Connect 4, foosball, cornhole, coolie tub, all that and more coming up. Stricky doesn't know this, but they've closed the buffet for the time being.
Sorry,
so he's
I
going
have
to
a
have
cookie
to
wait.
wait.
Food.
He's
Go.
going to have to wait. We're out of here on the block. Coming up next.